The rain pounded against the cracked window of the small apartment in downtown Chicago, where Peter Thompson stared at his reflection in the foggy glass. At 28, his eyes held the weight of secrets that could shatter his world. Secrets born from a love he couldn't deny and a family he couldn't abandon. Tonight, as he prepared for another shift that would pay the bills but erode his soul, he wondered if his younger brother, Ben, would ever know the truth about how their family had survived. Growing up in a rundown neighborhood on the South Side, Peter had always known he was different. While other boys chased girls and dreamed of football stardom, Peter found solace in quiet moments, sketching designs for clothes he could never afford. But when their father died in a factory accident when Peter was 12 and Ben was 8, dreams became luxuries they couldn't spare. Their mother, Maria, worked double shifts at a diner, but it wasn't enough. Bills piled up, eviction notices came, and hunger became a familiar companion. Peter stepped up first. He dropped out of high school at 16 to take odd jobs, washing dishes, delivering papers, anything to keep the lights on. But as Ben showed promise in school, earning scholarships and praise from teachers, Peter saw a way out for at least one of them. Ben was the golden child, straight-A student, captain of the debate team, destined for college. Peter couldn't let that slip away. So, when a shady opportunity arose through a friend of a friend, Peter took it. He started working nights in the underground scene, offering companionship to wealthy men who sought discretion. It wasn't about desire. It was about survival. Each encounter chipped away at his dignity, but the money kept Ben in school supplies, paid for Maria's medications, and covered rent. The guilt gnawed at him. Peter hid his orientation from his family, fearing their Catholic roots would reject him. Maria often spoke of grandkids and traditional values, unknowingly stabbing at his heart. Ben, oblivious, idolized his big brother, calling him the family's rock. Peter smiled through it all, burying his pain in late-night walks along Lake Michigan, where the waves whispered promises of a different life. One evening, after a particularly grueling night, Peter wandered into a small coffee shop in Boys Town, Chicago's vibrant gay neighborhood. The warmth inside contrasted the chill outside, and that's where he met Jamie. Jamie was a graphic designer, 30, with kind eyes and a laugh that lit up the room. They bonded over shared interests in art and music, talking for hours about everything except Peter's hidden life. For the first time, Peter felt seen, not as a provider or a secret, but as himself. Their connection grew quickly. Jamie invited Peter to art shows, introduced him to friends, and slowly, Peter opened up about his family struggles, though he omitted the darkest parts. Jamie shared his own story, coming out in a small Midwest town, facing rejection, but finding acceptance in the city. "You don't have to carry the world alone," Jamie said one night as they walked hand in hand under streetlights. Peter wanted to believe him, but the weight of his sacrifices held him back. Meanwhile, Ben's star rose. He graduated high school with honors and got accepted to Northwestern University on a partial scholarship. The family celebrated with a rare dinner out, Maria beaming with pride. "This is all thanks to you, Peter," she said, squeezing his hand. "You've been our guardian angel." Peter forced a smile, his mind flashing to the envelopes of cash he'd slipped under her door, earned in ways she'd never approve. But cracks began to show. Peter's health suffered from the stress, sleepless nights, anxiety attacks. Jamie noticed, pressing for answers. "What's eating you up inside?" he asked during a quiet dinner at Jamie's apartment. Peter hesitated, then confessed part of it. His sexuality, the fear of losing his family. Jamie held him, promising support. "Love isn't something to hide. It's what makes us whole." The autumn leaves crunched under Peter's feet as he walked to meet Jamie at Grant Park. It had been 2 months since their first coffee, and their relationship had blossomed into something real, a quiet romance amid the chaos of Peter's life. Jamie's apartment became a sanctuary, where Peter could shed the facade and just be. They cooked meals together, watched old movies, and shared dreams. Jamie's of starting his own design firm, Peter's of one day pursuing fashion. But reality intruded. Ben's first semester at Northwestern was underway, and the costs added up. Books, fees, dorm expenses. Maria's arthritis worsened, requiring expensive treatments. Peter doubled down on his night work, telling his family he had a second job at a warehouse. The lies compounded, each one a brick in the wall separating him from those he loved. One afternoon, while helping Ben move into his dorm, Peter overheard a conversation that chilled him. Ben's new roommate, an outspoken advocate for LGBTQ rights, was discussing campus pride events. Ben laughed it off, saying, "My family's pretty traditional. My mom would freak if anyone in our house was gay." The words stung Peter like a slap. He excused himself, fighting back tears in the bathroom mirror. Jamie sensed the shift. That night, over pizza, he gently probed, "You seem distant. Is it about your brother?" Peter nodded, recounting the overheard remark. "I can't come out, Jamie. It would destroy them. Ben's got his whole future ahead, scholarships, opportunities. If they knew about me, about how I've been paying for it all." His voice trailed off. Jamie took his hand. "Paying how? You've mentioned odd jobs? But there's more, isn't there?" Peter pulled away, panic rising. He couldn't reveal the full truth, not yet. Instead, he deflected, talking about the societal pressures on immigrant families like his, where survival trumped self-expression. Jamie listened, sharing stories of friends who'd faced similar dilemmas. "Coming out isn't easy, but living a lie is harder. You deserve happiness too." The conflict escalated when Maria fell ill, hospitalized with pneumonia. Bills mounted, and Peter took on riskier clients to cover them. One night, after a tense encounter, he showed up at Jamie's door bruised and shaken. Jamie demanded answers. "This isn't from a warehouse accident. Tell me the truth, Peter." Tears streaming, Peter confessed. The companionship gigs, the men who paid for his time, the degradation masked as necessity. "I sold myself to keep them alive," he whispered. "Ben shines because I dimmed." Jamie was stunned but compassionate. "That's not selling yourself. That's surviving a broken system. Poverty, homophobia, they force choices no one should make." He urged Peter to seek help, counseling, community resources. But Peter resisted, fearing exposure. "If Ben finds out, he'll hate me. Mom too." Meanwhile, Ben thrived at college, joining clubs and making friends. He called Peter often, gushing about classes and parties. "You're the best brother, man. I couldn't do this without you." Each call twisted the knife deeper. A turning point came at a family dinner. Maria, recovering, announced she'd found an old photo album. As they flipped through, she pointed to a picture of young Peter in a dress-up outfit, laughing. "You were always so creative," she said fondly. Ben joked, "Yeah, Peter the artist. Too bad you didn't pursue it." Peter's heart raced. Later, alone with Maria, she confided, "I know life's been hard on you, son. Whatever you're hiding, I love you." Her words cracked his armor, but he stayed silent. Jamie's influence grew. He introduced Peter to a support group for LGBTQ individuals from conservative backgrounds. There, Peter heard stories mirroring his hyphenated identities, familial duties clashing with personal truths. Sparked hope, but also fear. What if embracing his identity cost him his family? As tensions built, a scandal brewed. One of Peter's clients, a prominent businessman, faced exposure in a tabloid. Peter panicked, worried his name might surface. Jamie stood by him, saying, "This could be your chance to break free. Let's face it together." But Peter wavered, torn between love and loyalty. Winter blanketed Chicago in snow, mirroring the chill in Peter's heart. His relationship with Jamie deepened, providing warmth against the storm. They spent holidays together, Jamie's family welcoming Peter with open arms, a stark contrast to his own guarded home. Jamie's parents, progressive academics, shared tales of activism, inspiring Peter to envision a life without shadows. But back home, shadows loomed larger. Ben returned for break, noticing Peter's exhaustion. "You look wrecked, bro. What's up with that warehouse job? Quit and go back to school." Peter brushed it off, but Ben persisted, sensing something amiss. One night, while Peter was out with Jamie, Ben snooped through Peter's room, finding hidden cash and a journal entry hinting at his struggles. Confrontation erupted the next day. "What is this, Peter? Money from where? And this stuff about feeling trapped?" Ben demanded. Peter froze, then lied. "Side gigs, nothing big." But Ben pressed. "I heard rumors in the neighborhood. People saying you've been with guys for cash." The accusation hung heavy. Peter's world crumbled. "It's not like that," he stammered. "I did what I had to for us, for you and Mom." Ben recoiled, shock turning to anger. "For us? That's disgusting. How could you? And are you gay?" The word spat like venom. Tears welled in Peter's eyes. "Yes, I am. But the money was for survival. Dad died. Mom worked herself sick. You needed school. I sacrificed so you could shine." Ben stormed out, leaving Peter devastated. Maria overheard, entering the room pale. "Is it true, Mijo?" Peter nodded, bracing for rejection. Instead, she hugged him. "I suspected. Your father and we came from a different time. But you're my son. The money. God forgive us all." Her acceptance was bittersweet, laced with sorrow for his pain. Ben, however, struggled. He distanced himself, throwing himself into studies. Friends at college offered perspectives. Some condemned Peter's choices as immoral. Others saw them as products of systemic failures, lack of support for queer youth, economic inequality. Ben grappled with guilt, realizing his success rested on Peter's suffering. Jamie became Peter's anchor. "Your brother's hurt, but he'll come around. Love wins out." They attended pride events discreetly, Peter slowly embracing his identity. But societal backlash hit hard. When Ben confided in a roommate, word spread, and anonymous messages targeted Peter. Slurs, threats. It highlighted the ongoing fight against homophobia in America. A major conflict arose when the businessman's scandal broke. Peter's name wasn't mentioned, but paranoia gripped him. He quit the gigs, seeking legitimate work as a barista, but the pay cut strained finances. Maria encouraged him. "We'll manage. No more sacrifices like that." Ben's internal turmoil peaked during a campus debate on LGBTQ rights versus family values. He argued passionately for acceptance, drawing from his brother's story anonymously. It shifted his view, seeing Peter not as flawed, but as heroic in a flawed world. Reconciliation began tentatively. Ben called Peter. "I was wrong to judge. I didn't understand the pressure." Peter forgave, but scars remained. Society pits us against each other. Poor versus privileged, straight versus gay. I just wanted us to survive. As spring approached, Peter and Jamie planned a future. Peter enrolling in community college for design, Jamie supporting him. But external pressures mounted. Maria's church community whispered judgments, testing her loyalty. Ben faced peer scrutiny for defending his deviant brother. The story's drama intensified with a family crisis. Maria's health declined again, requiring surgery. Without Peter's extra income, they faced tough choices. Ben offered to drop out and work, but Peter refused. No more cycles of sacrifice. Instead, they sought community aid, LGBTQ organizations providing financial support. Through it all, Peter's choices sparked debates. Was his path justifiable? Did family duty excuse moral compromises? Jamie argued no, emphasizing self-worth. Ben evolved, advocating for systemic change. Spring brought renewal to Chicago, but for Peter, it was a season of reckoning. With Jamie's encouragement, he applied for scholarships aimed at adult learners in the arts. Acceptance letters arrived, symbolizing a new chapter. "This is your time to shine," Jamie said, kissing him proudly. Yet old wounds festered. Ben's transformation was ongoing. He volunteered at a queer youth center, learning about the intersections of poverty and identity. "I see now how the system fails people like you," he told Peter during a reconciliatory lunch. "But your choices, they bother me. Was there no other way?" Peter sighed. "In hindsight, maybe, but desperation clouds judgment. Society offers few lifelines for gay kids in poor families. Their discussion delved into controversies: the ethics of survival sex work, the stigma attached, and how it perpetuates cycles of shame. Ben admitted his initial reaction stemmed from internalized homophobia, absorbed from their upbringing. Maria adapted too, attending a support group for parents of LGBTQ children. She confronted her church friends, defending Peter. "Love thy neighbor means all neighbors," she declared. But not everyone agreed. Some shunned her, highlighting religious divides in American society. Jamie's world collided with Peter's when he proposed a joint art exhibit showcasing stories of resilience. Peter hesitated, fearing exposure. "What if people connect the dots to my past?" Jamie reassured, "Your story inspires. It's about triumph over adversity." The exhibit became a flashpoint. Held in a Wicker Park gallery, it drew crowds, including Ben and Maria. Peter's pieces depicted abstract struggles: shadows yielding to light, figures breaking chains. One painting, Brother's Shadow, symbolized his sacrifices. Viewers debated. Was it exploitation or empowerment? Critics called it provocative, sparking online discussions about queer narratives in art. Drama peaked when a former client attended, recognizing Peter. Whispers spread, and a confrontation ensued. "You think you can erase the past with pretty pictures?" the man sneered. Jamie intervened, but the incident went viral on social media, outing Peter's history. Hashtags like survival stories and queer shame trended, dividing opinions. Supporters praised his courage. Detractors labeled him immoral. The fallout tested relationships. Ben defended Peter publicly, writing an op-ed for the campus paper, "My Brother's Sacrifice: A Call for Empathy in a Judgmental World." It went national, igniting debates on poverty's role in personal choices. Maria faced backlash at church but stood firm. "God sees the heart," she said. Peter spiraled, questioning his worth. "Maybe I am damaged," he confessed to Jamie. Jamie held him. "No, you're a survivor. Society damaged you, but you're healing." They navigated the storm together, their bond strengthening amid adversity. As summer neared, resolution loomed. Peter secured a job at a design firm, thanks to the exhibit's buzz. Finances stabilized with community grants. Ben graduated early, landing an internship, vowing to pay it forward. "We'll build a better future," he promised. But lingering conflicts remained. A family therapy session revealed deep-seated issues. Maria's guilt for not noticing Peter's pain, Ben's resentment turned inward, Peter's fear of abandonment. They committed to openness, challenging traditional norms. The story's controversies fueled broader discourse. Should personal sacrifices be glorified or critiqued? Does coming out always lead to freedom, or can it destroy families? Peter's journey embodied these questions, leaving readers to ponder. Summer sun bathed Chicago in golden light, mirroring the tentative hope in Peter's life. With Jamie by his side, he pursued his design degree part-time, his creativity flourishing. Their relationship, once hidden, became a source of strength. Picnics in Lincoln Park, quiet evenings dreaming of travel. "You've given me a second chance at life," Peter told Jamie one afternoon. Ben's growth was profound. His op-ed led to speaking engagements, where he advocated for LGBTQ rights and economic justice. "My brother's story isn't unique," he'd say. "It's a symptom of a society that lets the vulnerable fall through cracks." Debates raged. Conservatives argued personal responsibility. Liberals pushed for systemic reform. Ben navigated it all, crediting Peter for his awakening. Maria embraced change, hosting a small pride gathering at home. Friends from her support group attended, blending cultures and generations. "Family is love, not labels," she toasted. Yet, echoes of judgment lingered. A cousin disowned them, illustrating familial rifts over sexuality. Peter's past resurfaced in unexpected ways. A documentary filmmaker approached, wanting to feature his story. Peter agreed, but with boundaries, no sensationalism, focus on emotions and choices. The process was cathartic, forcing him to confront regrets. "I wouldn't change it," he reflected. "It shaped me, saved us." Jamie edited footage, ensuring authenticity. Climax built during the film's premiere at a local festival. Crowds filled the theater, including Ben, Maria, and Jamie's family. As Peter's narrative unfolded, childhood loss, hidden identity, sacrifices for survival, gasps and tears filled the room. Post-screening Q&A sparked heated exchanges. Is survival sex work ever justifiable? One audience member asked. Peter responded thoughtfully, in a perfect world, no. But when systems fail, people adapt. Judge the system, not the survivor. The film went viral, amplifying controversies. Media outlets dissected it. Some hailed it as a poignant drama on queer resilience. Others criticized it for glamorizing tough choices. Social media buzzed with polls. Should family secrets stay buried? Peter became an unwitting spokesperson, interviewed on podcasts about intersecting oppressions, class, sexuality, race. Personal tolls mounted. Threats arrived, homophobic trolls online. Jamie worried, but Peter stood firm. Hiding didn't work. Truth does. Their love endured, a beacon amid turmoil. Resolution came full circle. At a family barbecue, Ben pulled Peter aside. I'm proud of you, not just for what you did, but who you are. Maria joined. We've all grown because of you. Peter smiled, feeling whole for the first time. Yet the journey wasn't tidy. Lingering doubts persisted. Had Peter's sacrifices enabled Ben's success at too great a cost? Did societal progress excuse individual pain? As the sun set, Peter and Jamie walked along the lakefront, hands intertwined. What now? Jamie asked. Peter replied, we live authentically. No more shadows. The story concludes with a question. Is it morally right to conceal one's true self and make extreme personal sacrifices for the greater good of the family, even if it perpetuates cycles of hidden suffering?